Success doesn't begin with opportunity. It begins in the mind. Long before you accomplish something in the real world, you must first conquer the battlefield within. Your mindset determines how you interpret challenges, setbacks, and your own potential. If your inner voice constantly whispers doubt, fear, or defeat, then no amount of external success will ever stick. But if you can rewire that voice, if you can speak to yourself with courage, determination, and belief, you'll unlock strength you never knew you had. Mastering your mindset means choosing what thoughts are allowed to take root. It means recognizing when you're caught in a spiral of negativity and intentionally shifting to a perspective of empowerment. Instead of saying, I can't, ask, how can I? Instead of, I'm not ready, say, I'll begin and grow from here. This shift isn't just motivational, it's transformational. It changes how you act, how you face fear, and how you move forward when things get hard. Those who achieve greatness aren't free from self-doubt. They simply refuse to be ruled by it. They replace excuses with execution. They own their choices, their outcomes, and their growth. Your mind is your most powerful tool, but only when you take control of it. And that starts with awareness. Begin to notice your inner dialogue throughout the day. Are your thoughts building you up or tearing you down? Are you feeding fear or feeding faith? The truth is, success isn't reserved for the smartest or the most talented. It belongs to those who believe in themselves, even when they're not yet where they want to be. The great achievers of history, people like Edison, Ford, and Carnegie, weren't born with certainty. They cultivated it. They trained their minds through repetition, vision, and persistence. They dared to believe something better was possible and took action aligned with that belief, even in the face of uncertainty. So, if you want to change your life, start by mastering your thoughts. Guard your mind like it's sacred. Fill it with content that challenges and uplifts you. Surround yourself with people who encourage growth, not doubt. Reflect, journal, visualize. Whatever it takes to reinforce the mindset of a winner. Because once you've won the battle within, the outside world begins to change as well. When your thoughts align with belief, ownership, and decisive action, your reality starts to reflect your potential. Master your mindset, and everything else becomes possible. If you're waiting for motivation to change your life, you might wait forever. The truth is, motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes with your emotions, your energy levels, even the weather. But discipline? Discipline is what remains when everything else fades. It's the force that gets you out of bed when you're tired, pushes you to take action when you're uninspired, and keeps you on track when the world is pulling you in every direction. Building unbreakable discipline is the foundation of lasting success. Discipline doesn't ask, do I feel like it today? It says, this is what I do, no matter what. The most successful people in the world don't rely on bursts of excitement or sudden energy. They've trained themselves to show up every single day, with or without motivation. That's the difference between wishing and winning, between starting something and actually finishing it. To develop discipline, you must create non-negotiable habits. These are the daily commitments that become part of your identity. Whether it's a morning routine, a set time to exercise, or dedicated focus blocks for deep work, these routines are not optional. They're required. Discipline is built in the small decisions you make consistently over time. And just like a muscle, it grows stronger the more you use it. Start simple. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for consistency. Make your bed every morning. Read a few pages of a book. Go for a walk even when it's cold. These seemingly small habits shape your mindset and create momentum. And as that momentum builds, so does your belief in yourself. Discipline is also about structure. When you have a system in place, your actions are not dependent on how you feel in the moment. You stop wasting energy on deciding what to do next and simply follow through. That structure is what keeps you moving when motivation runs dry. Understand this. Discipline is not restriction, it's freedom. Freedom from procrastination, freedom from regret, freedom from the chaos of inconsistency. It gives you control over your life, your goals, and your outcomes. So ask yourself, what would change if you committed to showing up no matter how you felt? What could you achieve if you made your progress non-negotiable? When you build unbreakable discipline, you don't need to chase motivation. You become the kind of person who gets things done regardless of circumstances. And that is where true success begins. Discipline isn't a personality trait, it's a habit, one you can build starting today. If your goals feel safe, easy, or familiar, they're probably not pushing you far enough. Comfortable goals lead to comfortable lives. But greatness? Greatness lives just outside your comfort zone. It begins when you set bold, challenging goals. Goals that make your heart race and your hands sweat. These aren't goals you know exactly how to achieve. They're the ones that demand growth, grit, and guts. The problem most people face isn't a lack of dreams. It's that they set goals too small, too vague, or too safe. They aim for what they know they can do instead of what they're capable of becoming. But if your goals don't challenge you, they won't change you. Growth comes when you stretch your limits, when you dare to pursue something that scares you just enough to keep you sharp and focused. Think about it. The most transformational achievements in history didn't come from people playing it safe. They came from those who bet big on themselves, set bold visions, and went all in. That's the kind of mindset you need. Don't aim to stay in control. Aim to expand. When you set bold goals, you force yourself to become more. You learn faster, act braver, and think bigger. Of course, bold goals without a plan are just fantasies. That's why every big dream must be broken down into small, actionable steps. Define exactly what needs to happen. What will you do today, this week, this month, to move closer to that vision? Clarity drives momentum, and momentum turns fear into confidence. But here's the key. Once the goal is set, you must commit completely. No, maybe. No, let's see how it goes. Total commitment leaves no room for hesitation. And when you remove hesitation, you remove delay. You move forward decisively. Bold goals also create a new kind of energy. They give you something meaningful to fight for, something that pulls you out of bed, even on the hard days. You'll find that fear and doubt fade when your purpose is strong enough. And every step you take, no matter how small, builds belief. So stop settling for goals that feel achievable. Go after the ones that feel just beyond your reach, the ones that make you nervous and excited at the same time, the ones that require you to grow into the kind of person who can accomplish them. Because in the end, it's not just about reaching the goal. It's about who you become in the process. Bold goals build bold lives. Start aiming higher. Then get to work. Seeking approval from others is one of the quietest traps in life. It starts small, a hesitation here, a second guess there. And before you know it, you're living a life shaped by other people's expectations instead of your own values. The truth is, when you constantly seek validation from the outside, you give away your power. You start filtering your choices, your voice, and even your dreams through the lens of what others might think. But here's the hard truth. No matter what you do, someone will disapprove. You could play it safe or take bold action, and someone will still have something to say. That's why living for approval is a losing game. You can't win it, and you shouldn't try. Because the only voice that truly matters is the one inside your head. That voice, the one that whispers your goals, your desires, your truth, is the one that deserves your loyalty. Authenticity is power. When you stop seeking permission and start honoring your own values, you step into a life that's real, not perfect, not always understood, but real. And that kind of life brings peace because it's aligned with who you are, not who the world wants you to be. Living authentically doesn't mean being reckless or dismissive. It means listening to your intuition, standing firm in your beliefs, and making decisions that reflect your truth, even when they're unpopular. When you live this way, you attract the right people, those who respect your authenticity rather than your ability to conform. Trusting yourself is a skill. At first, it feels uncomfortable. You might second guess your instincts, especially if you're used to asking for others' opinions before making a move. But with practice, self-trust grows. Each time you choose your path, even in small decisions, you build confidence. Each time you stay true to your values in the face of judgment, your voice gets stronger. And when you stop living for likes, applause, or validation, something incredible happens. You begin to live with purpose. You start doing things because they matter to you, not because you're trying to meet someone else's standard. That shift alone can change the direction of your life. So, stop looking outward for approval. Look inward for alignment. Trust your voice. Honor your truth. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how many people agree with your choices. It's about whether you can look in the mirror and know you made them for the right reasons. Struggle is not something to avoid. It is something to embrace. It may sound counterintuitive, especially in a world that promotes ease, comfort, and convenience at every turn. But the truth is, struggle is the gateway to real growth. It is the proving ground of character, the forge where resilience is built, and the place where ordinary people become extraordinary. Every hardship you face carries within it the potential to transform you. The question is not if you'll encounter struggle, but what you'll do with it when it comes. Most people run from discomfort. They label it as a sign to stop, as something to avoid at all costs. But discomfort is not the enemy. Complacency is. It's in the moments when things get hard, when your plans fall apart, when you feel overwhelmed or uncertain, that the real opportunities for growth reveal themselves. These are not moments to shrink from, but moments to lean into. Think of every great achievement in history. It was born out of resistance. The inventor who failed 1,000 times. The leader who was doubted by all. The athlete who trained through pain and setbacks. None of these individuals reached success by avoiding struggle. They reached it because they embraced it. They recognized that every challenge was a lesson. Every obstacle, a chance to grow stronger, smarter, and more determined. Struggle teaches what comfort never can. It reveals your weaknesses, but also your strength. It tests your limits, and then helps you expand them. It teaches patience, grit, and endurance. And over time, as you face more difficulties and rise each time, you begin to trust yourself more deeply. You develop a quiet confidence, not because life is easy, but because you've proven you can survive when it's hard. That kind of confidence, the kind born from struggle, is unshakable. It doesn't depend on circumstances or applause. It's built within you. So don't fear the tough times. Don't pray for life to be easier. Pray for the strength to rise. Because every time you choose to keep going, to learn from the pain, and to push 1 inch further, you are becoming the kind of person who cannot be broken. Use your struggle. Don't waste it. Let it shape you, teach you, strengthen you. The fire you're walking through today is the same fire that will forge the strength you'll carry tomorrow. Embrace it fully, and you will rise higher than you ever thought possible. Your environment shapes your destiny more than you realize. The people you spend time with, their attitudes, their habits, their mindset, have a direct impact on your thoughts, emotions, and ultimately, your actions. If you want to grow, if you want to reach your potential and build a life of success, peace, and purpose, you must be intentional about who you allow into your circle. One of the most powerful steps you can take is removing toxic people from your life. Toxic individuals drain your energy. They plant seeds of doubt, fear, and insecurity. They belittle your dreams, mock your ambition, and resist any effort you make toward personal growth. These people don't necessarily mean harm, but their presence becomes a weight, a heavy anchor that keeps you stuck in patterns of limitation. If you surround yourself with small-minded, negative, or lazy individuals, it becomes incredibly difficult to stay focused, optimistic, or productive. On the other hand, when you align yourself with people who are driven, disciplined, and purpose oriented, everything changes. You begin to rise to their level. Their energy lifts you. Their standards push you. Their vision inspires you. You feed off their commitment, and in turn, you raise your own. Growth becomes more natural when you're surrounded by people who are also growing. This doesn't mean you should cut everyone out at the first sign of negativity, but it does mean you need to audit your relationships. Ask yourself, who supports my growth? Who inspires me to become better? Who drains me, doubts me, or holds me back? It may be uncomfortable, but it's necessary. You owe it to your future to make hard choices about the people you let into your life. Protect your peace. Guard your energy. Be intentional about building a circle that reflects where you want to go, not just where you've been. Seek out mentors, peers, and friends who challenge you, encourage you, and hold you accountable to your highest standards. Create an environment that fosters greatness, not mediocrity. Because in the end, your mindset, your habits, and your future are all influenced by the company you keep. Remove toxic people not out of spite, but out of love for yourself, your growth, and the life you're committed to building. You don't rise by carrying everyone with you. You rise by surrounding yourself with those who are already climbing. Choose wisely. Your future depends on it. In a world overflowing with distractions, mastering the art of focus has become a superpower. Your attention is one of your most valuable resources, and where you place it determines the quality of your results, and ultimately, your life. Success doesn't come from doing 100 things halfway. It comes from doing a few things with relentless precision and deep concentration. Every time you allow your attention to be pulled in multiple directions, emails, social media, notifications, endless multitasking, you weaken your ability to make meaningful progress. Scattered attention leads to scattered results. But when you cultivate focus, when you train your mind to lock in on one task at a time with intensity, that's when you tap into true productivity. That's when you start building something of real value. Focus isn't just about working harder. It's about working smarter. It's about protecting your time as if it were gold, because it is. Every hour spent mindlessly scrolling or reacting to distractions is an hour stolen from your goals. You need to reclaim that time. Eliminate unnecessary commitments. Silence notifications. Create a space that supports deep work and uninterrupted thinking. Greatness is not reserved for the naturally gifted. It belongs to those who can tune out the noise and commit fully to the process. When you give your full attention to something, you accelerate learning, improve performance, and build momentum. 1 hour of deep, focused work will accomplish more than an entire day spent jumping from one distraction to the next. Make it a habit to start your day with intention. Set priorities. Block out time for the work that truly matters. Schedule breaks, but don't let breaks become your default mode. Discipline your environment so that it supports, not sabotages, your success. And remember, every time you resist a distraction, you strengthen your focus muscle. Whether you're working on a business, studying a new skill, improving your health, or writing your story, success demands attention. The people who rise above the rest are not necessarily the most talented. They're the ones who guard their focus like their future depends on it, because it does. Focus is how goals are achieved. Focus is how legacies are built. If you want to transform your life, begin by mastering your attention. Eliminate the distractions. Protect your time. Commit to deep, consistent effort. Because in the end, it's not just what you do. It's how focused you are when you do it that makes all the difference. Relentless self-belief is not something you're born with. It's something you cultivate day by day, decision by decision. It begins in silence, often when no one is cheering you on, when doubts creep in, and the road ahead is filled with uncertainty. But this is the very moment where belief matters most. Belief isn't about having all the answers or waiting for validation from others. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, I will keep going no matter what. Confidence is not arrogance. It's certainty rooted in action. Every time you choose to act despite fear, you reinforce your belief. Every time you push forward through rejection, failure, or uncertainty, you plant another seed of confidence. You don't need a crowd's applause. You need conviction in your mission. Greatness has never belonged to those who waited for permission. It belongs to those who moved forward, even when they were alone in their vision. History is filled with people who were doubted, ridiculed, or told their dreams were impossible. But what separates them from the rest is that they believed anyway. They believed before there was evidence. They believed when no one else could see what they saw. That kind of belief builds a mental fortress that no critic can tear down. You must learn to silence the inner critic that whispers, "You're not enough." That voice will always be there. It's part of being human. But relentless self-belief speaks louder. It says, I've been through worse and still showed up. It says, my past doesn't define my future. It says, I don't need to know how everything will unfold. I just need to take the next step. To develop this kind of belief, start by keeping the promises you make to yourself. Build trust in your own word. If you say you'll do something, follow through. With each small win, your confidence grows. Speak to yourself with strength, not hesitation. Replace I hope with I will. Replace I'll try with I commit. And when setbacks come as they will, don't question your worth. Remind yourself why you started. The world will always have opinions, but belief in yourself is your anchor. When you believe, you lead. When you believe, you endure. And when you believe relentlessly, without conditions, without compromise, there is no challenge too great, no dream too far. You become unstoppable. Ideas are powerful, but without action, they mean nothing. You can have the best plan, the boldest dream, and the most inspiring vision. But if you don't act on them, they remain just that, ideas. The people who achieve real success are not necessarily the smartest or the most prepared. They are the ones who take massive, consistent action, especially when it's uncomfortable or uncertain. They don't wait for the perfect time because they know the perfect time is a myth. Progress doesn't belong to those who plan forever. It belongs to those who move forward, even when conditions aren't ideal. Those who hesitate, who second-guess every move, end up stuck in the same place year after year, wondering why things never change. Meanwhile, the action takers build momentum. They learn by doing. They grow by failing forward. They adapt quickly and keep going, no matter how many times they get knocked down. Massive action isn't about reckless movement. It's about relentless forward motion. It's waking up every day and doing something that pushes you toward your goal, even if it's small. It's about showing up when you don't feel ready. It's about starting with what you have, where you are, and trusting that clarity and improvement will come through the process. Most people sit on their dreams because they're afraid to get it wrong. But those who succeed understand that inaction is the real failure. You can course correct along the way, but only if you've taken that first step. Taking massive action builds confidence. Each task you complete, each obstacle you overcome, strengthens your belief that you are capable. You begin to trust yourself more. You prove to your own mind that you're not someone who just talks. You're someone who does. And in a world full of hesitation, that alone sets you apart. Stop waiting for signs. Stop thinking you need to know every step before you begin. Start now. Take one bold move, then another and another. The compound effect of daily action will transform your life. It will turn vague goals into visible results. It will take you from wishing to winning. Remember, no one creates a legacy by standing still. Movement creates opportunity. Momentum builds power. And massive action taken consistently is what turns possibility into reality. Don't just dream, do. Don't just hope, Act. Because in the end, success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who move. Growth is not a phase of life. It's a lifelong commitment. The moment you stop growing, you begin to drift. Success isn't a place you arrive at and rest. It's a journey that demands continuous improvement, learning, and personal evolution. Those who thrive well into their later years understand this truth. There's always more to learn, more to refine, and more to become. Whether you're 30 or 70, your mind still has the capacity to expand, your character still has room to strengthen, and your skills can always be sharpened. Too many people believe that once they reach a certain age or achieve a milestone, their development is complete. But the reality is, true fulfillment comes from growth, mental, emotional, and spiritual. The world is constantly changing. New technologies, ideas, and challenges emerge every day. To remain effective, inspired, and relevant, you must remain open and hungry for knowledge. Lifelong growth means choosing curiosity over comfort. It means asking yourself each day, how can I improve today, even in a small way? Whether it's reading 10 pages of a book, learning a new skill, reflecting on your past decisions, or simply listening more closely to the people around you, every effort adds up. It's not about grand transformations overnight. It's about small, consistent steps that build momentum and lead to deep, lasting change. When you challenge yourself regularly, you keep your mind sharp and your spirit alive. Stagnation, on the other hand, leads to complacency, which erodes confidence and purpose over time. But when you stay in motion, mentally, emotionally, and physically, you feel alive. You gain energy, perspective, and wisdom that others miss by standing still. No matter your stage in life, there's always a next level, a better version of yourself waiting to emerge. Growth doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're committed. Committed to becoming the best version of yourself. Not because you have to, but because you can. So don't settle. Don't assume you've learned enough, done enough, or seen it all. The most fulfilled individuals are those who treat every day as a chance to learn something new, to refine a habit, to stretch just a little further. Growth isn't just for the ambitious, it's for the wise. And wisdom tells us that the most powerful way to honor our potential is to keep moving forward. Never stop growing, because your best chapter might still be unwritten. Growth doesn't have an expiration date. No matter where you are in life, purpose, progress, and fulfillment remain within reach. The key message is simple but powerful. Success isn't about luck or perfect timing. It's built through mindset, discipline, and consistent action. By shifting your inner dialogue from doubt to belief and choosing effort over comfort, you begin to take back control. Set clear, meaningful goals, whether it's walking more, reading daily, or learning a new skill, and let those small steps create lasting change. Protect your time, focus your energy, and surround yourself with voices that uplift rather than drain you. Discipline isn't a burden. It's a tool that sharpens your character and anchors your daily life. Even on days when motivation is low, your ability to follow through builds confidence and momentum. You don't need dramatic changes to live a richer, more intentional life. What you need is the decision to begin and the willingness to keep going. Every day offers a new opportunity to grow, learn, and lead with wisdom. You still have so much to give and even more to become.